Happy Monday. I have no idea what technology problems I was dealing with, but so sorry. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest reality TV gossip. Jeff Lewis, the Jeff Lewis Extended Show. Oh my gosh, I hope you had an amazing weekend. Did you watch the game? Did you party? Did you host a party? Were you even watching the game like me? I kind of got into the well, I was there for food and friends, honestly, which was so good. Everyone brought such good food, and the desserts were so good. Okay, I'm so glad y'all are back. I do not know what happened, but technology, gotta love it. And it is a beautiful sunny day here. So I don't know if weather affects Wi-Fi, who knows, all that jazz. But anyways, thank you so much for being patient with me. Um, anyways, but even towards the end of the game, there was about 30 or 40 of us at this party that I was at. And at the end of the game, there was a mixture of guys and girls, obviously. And I said, is this fixed? Like, what if they end up tying this game just to go into overtime? And what ended up happening? Like, sometimes I do worry about that. Like, I wonder if they do it for ratings. I don't know, because honestly, I was only interested in the game when it was tied up at the very end. But anyways, if you follow me on Instagram at Sarah from Texas, you'll know that usually I'm posting pictures of food, especially at parties, and saying there's 0 calories in party food. But based on the scale that I just got on after my shower a minute ago, the scale does not think there's 0 calories in party food. So I guess I better get my shoes together. So anyways, okay, today we are going to chat. I watched a couple of Datelines over the weekend. Two were disappointing. They ended in hung juries. I can't stand a 2-hour Dateline, even though I fast forward through the commercials, and it ends in a hung jury, or I'm just not convinced the right person got convicted or if the person got off. Even on one of them I was watching, the defense attorney, they even asked the defense attorney, don't you think this guy's guilty? And he was like, well, yeah, sometimes I think, oh, yeah, he's guilty. And sometimes I think he's not. And I'm like, oh, my God, you're the freaking defense attorney. And you think the guy you're defending is probably guilty. I mean, I guess that's how it goes. Anyways, but one of the ones I was watching was in Austin, a horrible case. It's the one I posted about, if you saw it, where the girl looked like Ramona to me, and she was even wearing Ramona blue. Horrible. Her husband is murdered in the home. They're in Texas and Austin, so they all have guns. They're jewelers, so they had guns everywhere in their house, everywhere in their business. They had one son, a 19-year-old. He ended up being the mastermind behind it all. Like, he wanted his mom and dad both, and they had a great relationship. Like, there was nothing about it that he was saying. It was awful. Just awful. Anyways, but I also squeezed in time to watch some 90-Day Diaries, so I am going to chat about that. And did anyone watch I guess it's called season premiere, but it's another one of those weird things that TLC did, like they did with 1,000 Pound Sisters, where it was season 6, but it started off episode 11. But now, instead of calling it Mama June from Not to Hot, they're calling it Mama June Family Crisis. So somehow, I used to watch Honey Boo Boo. And I think they came off of Toddlers and Tiaras. So this little girl, the mama has 4 daughters. She gives some of them nicknames. Maybe they all have nicknames. I don't know. She's the one that got famous, if you remember. She had bugs crawling out of her toes. I don't know what happened. I think the story was that her foot got run over by a machine or something, and she would always walk around the house in socks. And she took off her socks one day, and she had literal bugs crawling out of her toes. Anyway, so she was with a guy named Sugar Bear. I thought he was really good. I don't know. I think he's the biological dad to Alana, the youngest, nicknamed Honey Boo Boo, that used to be in pageants and such. So then they had a time frame where they had this show, because clearly they're on 6 seasons, but I wasn't watching it. Like, I just kind of died out. I'd heard, sadly, that Mama June was a drug addict, and I think the sisters, this pumpkin who has 4 kids of her own and married or with a guy named Justin, who seems great, was pretty much raising Alana, which is now like 18. She just graduated high school. But I think Mama June has got her stuff together. She's with a new guy who seems really good too. They're both previous addicts. So I watched episodes 9 and 10, and they get married, and it's beautiful. You get to meet Mama June's sister. Her mom is not there, because then we learn that it's been 10 years that she has not talked to her mom. So then it goes into episode 11, which is the brand new season. But again, it's episode 11, so it's kind of confusing, right? We learned that 2 weeks after Mama June got married, her oldest, who is 28-ish, two little girls, 11 and like 5 or 6, Anna, who was raised by Mama June's mom, who they call Granny. So that's why Anna was never really on Honey Boo Boo as much. She was technically raised by Granny, and the others were raised in the house of Mama June. So just in this last year, they've gone through this therapy. They show a great guy named Dr. Ish, who seemed really good. Mama June, who they all seem to call Junebug, all these nicknames, seems to get her stuff together. I guess there was an issue of her texting her kids instead of actually making phone calls. So she's making phone calls. Oh, why I'm wearing glitter? I guess I'm still in the Taylor Swift phase. So sorry, the technology snafu at the beginning got me a little razzled, and I forgot to explain why the hell I'm wearing, sequins in the afternoon. I'm still in my Taylor Swift era, I guess, from last night. Anyway, so it starts off episode 11, and they basically say 2 weeks after Mama June had this beautiful wedding, all the family at Pensacola Beach, her oldest is diagnosed with stage 4 adrenal cancer. So she cannot live in Georgia because her husband was on probation. He gets off probation through the sheriff lets him off. They're able to move back to Georgia and help with her. But spoiler alert, as we all know, she recently passed away. So it starts off, and Anna says, I want to get married. I want to get married to the guy Eldridge that I've been with. They have the most beautiful wedding that they put together in like 3 to 4 days. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. It was so touching. I was sobbing. I know Honey Boo Boo the most, but again, I haven't really followed her all these years. I knew a Pumpkin, obviously her nickname. Jessica's really not on as much. So there's 4: Anna, Pumpkin, Jessica, and Alana, who they call Lana, who was Honey Boo Boo. And this wedding was so beautiful in their backyard. Their 2 daughters. They show where she starts losing her hair from chemo. And Justin, the husband, who seems so good, the husband of Pumpkin, shaves it off for her. And that reminded me when my mom lost her hair, and it was just getting annoying. And I remember vividly us all staying. We did it outside. That way there wasn't much mess outside of my mom's backyard, and my husband shaved my mom's hair. And anyway, so anyone that's dealt with somebody going through cancer that is losing their hair from the side effects has probably done the big shave of the hair, and how emotional that is. So that just brought me back to all of that. But one thing I didn't know is I didn't know that June had Anna at age 14. So when she got pregnant, I think the dad, whose name is David, because he ends up coming to the wedding, he didn't even know that she was pregnant for like 4 years. So I don't really remember. I was like sobbing so much. I'm like, I don't even know Anna. But, it was just so emotional. Apparently, they had not been as close to Anna as the other 3 sisters. So now, like for the past year, the 4 of them had all gotten more in contact. Mama June was clean and sober. She's married to what seems like a great guy, we hope. They had this beautiful wedding. They know stage 4 means it's spread, it's metastasized. So that, in most cases, I don't know as much about adrenal cancer in particular, but in most cases, stage 4 is usually not a good sign. That means it has spread. Now, my brother at 37 had stage 4 rectal cancer, and he is now going to be 54 this year. So he survived all those years of stage 4 cancer. But in general, whenever it's spread, it can be pretty quick. And that's what happened in Anna's case, because we already know in real time that she has since passed away, and it was just devastating. But what I didn't know also is that she had somehow at some point got in touch with her biological dad. He is there at the wedding, walks her down the aisle. It was so emotional. It goes into the night. They seem to have a beautiful wedding. Then Alana, who is dating a guy that I'd also seen in the news, had gotten arrested for like a DUI. I don't even know how old he is, but she is wanting to go away to college in Colorado. She gets accepted. She says it's a really good nursing program. So I don't know what her grades are, because I know you don't get into nursing school right away, right? You have to go to school and then apply to nursing school. But anyways, she's going to a school, but when he gets arrested, he would not be able to leave the state of Georgia and go to Colorado. So it ends episode 11 with us not knowing if she's even going to go away to college. And I honestly haven't been following her. I do see Mama June sometimes on TikTok lives, even since Anna, her oldest, has passed away, and she was like cooking something, probably what she used to cook, not spaghetti with ketchup, right? What did she mix the ketchup with? It was something else that she would make. She would make them spaghetti with like ketchup and something crazy. Anyways, Sugar Bear was not at the graduation that we know of anyways. And then they somehow mentioned, or maybe I Googled, he might be dealing with a prescription drug addiction. So I hope that's not the case. I hope he ends up showing up. But that's how episode 11 ended. So I will be watching the rest of this season. I'm fully invested again. No amount of time from not seeing Mama June, made me not invested in these kids and stuff. But another show I'm always invested in, 90 freaking Day Fiance, 90 Day Diaries, season 5. So Yara and Jovi are the ones that have been together for a couple years now. They're pretty active on social media also. She is this beautiful Russian, blonde hair, just gorgeous. They have a little girl. He goes away for like 2 months out of the time, and then I think he's home for about a month. So he kind of has a career that, she's a single mom, which she's complained about, but then he's home also for a full month at a time. But his mom, who she calls Mrs. Gwen, which is so sweet and Southern to me, I love that, has always been as hands-on and helpful as she can. They up and sold their house and moved closer to Jovi and Yara. And now the episode starts off, and Jovi and Yara are saying, hey, within 6 months, we're going to leave here and we're going to move to Miami. And Mrs. Gwen is just devastated. She's like, we moved to be closer to you. That's exactly what my mom did. So about a year after my dad passed away, the house that we'd grown up in our whole lives, my mom said, hey, if y'all are going to be in the city you're in, which is about 25 minutes away from where I grew up, if you're going to stay there, then I'm going to build a house near y'all. And we did, and we never moved away. But that was kind of one of the things she asked is, hey, if y'all are thinking of moving anytime soon, then I'm not going to move near you. I'll wait and move near where you are. So it kind of broke my heart that I feel like Yara wants Mrs. Gwen to help because, clearly her family is in Russia. But then when she moves closer to help with her and to have this close relationship with their daughter, they say, hey, we're going to move to Miami to help our marriage. So I don't know. I've heard of moving for jobs. I don't know how you move to help your marriage, but in real time, I don't know where they're living right now. So I need to check with my friend Sarah Fraser to see if she knows where 90 Day Fiance people are living. But I don't know. Kind of made me sad. There's another girl in there, Courtney. I remember her from the pandemic. She was living with some guy. Like she went to visit, similar to what she did on this episode. This was and she I think she's like young 30s maybe. I forget what state she's from. And she had visited a guy for like 2 weeks. The pandemic happened. She ends up living with him. So that went terribly awry. Now she's really wanting to have kids and get married and settle down. She's a hopeless romantic. She gets reconnected with some guy named Mustafa that she had known like 5 years ago. And over like 2 or 3 weeks, he's like, I want you to come stay with me. at my house. We want to hang out and like reignite. Maybe I will propose while you're there. She gets there and he's in another state. I think Pakistan, I think visiting family. So already she's got all these red flags. I think she ends up staying at his house for like 3 or 4 days. He finally comes home. I guess there was no romance, or he wasn't being as loving as she remembered that he was going to be, or that he was promising he was going to be. She gets a hotel, gets on the apps, swipes right, meets another guy. So we see that first date, and then she's already like comes home from the date and she's like, oh, well, I wonder how quickly we could get married and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I get it, Courtney, but oh, it just seems so desperate. I don't know, hopeless romantic, I guess. I don't know. I guess you have to hold out hope. Who knows? I just think I hope he's the real guy. This Elvis guy. I hope he's the real guy. This other one, Ben and Mahogany. So Ben was married for a long time, and I want to say he's like 53. Mahogany is 23, which I feel like she's been 23 the whole time she's been on 90 Day Fiance. And I know it's been a while now, but what I remember about them is she didn't show up for the first couple of days. She was like nervous, and then her family's very important to her, so she clearly remembered all of that and was nervous about that. They have since gotten married, but he cannot afford, I think it's thousands of dollars, I'm not sure, but at least probably $2,000 to $10,000 to apply for this visa. So he can't even apply. I don't know what he is. I know he got arrested or had a DUI at one point. But it almost seems like, first of all, this is what bugs me about 90 Day Diaries. They record themselves. Everything is self-recorded. So I think it's weird when they're like making out kissing, knowing that they're actually holding a selfie stick as they're kissing. It's one thing to have a camera kind of far off and you kind of get used to that and you realize you're kissing, what have you. But knowing that somebody is like literally set up the camera and they're like, okay, let's make sure we're in the camera shot. And then they go and kiss. So weird to me, right? Anyways, he seems super in love with Mahogany. I think Mahogany is super in love with the idea. I'm not sure. I don't know if she wants kids. He had to go and give blood to be able to afford the flight to come over. So I'm not even sure that he can afford kids. I do not know. All he says is he doesn't have a good job right now. And, all these people seem to think that these people have money. I think that's just like the where everyone thinks that everyone in Texas is walking around in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And it's just not true. So I think everyone on 90 Day Fiance, just because they live in America doesn't mean they have money to support them. I don't know. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, my contact is maxing up. I can't even see y'all's comments. Lori says, yeah, Courtney does come across as desperate, which I feel bad about, right? Because I mean, we can all imagine and experience and have empathy for somebody that life hasn't worked out the way they wanted, and different things, they thought she'd be married. She thought she would have kids, all these kinds of things. Just like the Chantel girl, I was watching that show and she meets this guy and she's like, so when do you want kids? Like, like how soon do you want kids? And if you follow 90 Day Fiance, Chantel and her family have made a career out of 90 Day Fiance. I mean, she's been on TV. I mean, she's had 2 or 3 different shows that have been all about just her family, much less. Anyways, he's a midlife crisis burn, Lori says. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, somebody says, I can't watch Chantel. Her boobs are so pretty. Oh my God, she's got the prettiest boobs. Oh my God. Okay, let's get into today's Jeff Lewis. It was Todrick Hall and Joey Zalzig. I think they were just on last week. And y'all know I always need a little more than a week in between. But Todrick does come very excited. He did have some new information that he didn't share with us last time. He is going to be in a show in Manchester, England. So shout out to anyone in England that can go and see him as a chump. He would just love it. A show called Burlesque. And then he lets us know that Christina Aguilera is also going to be in it. Now, does anyone believe, I know they were joking about it, and Shane was like, let's go. Does anyone believe for 2 seconds that Jeff Lewis is going to hop on an international airplane and go over to see a musical that would probably put him to sleep, because I think Todrick said it was like 2.5 hours. I mean, I don't think he would. I think in theory, he loves supporting the chumps and he would love to do it, but I just don't think he would get on a plane to do it. Oh my gosh. Cecily says Chantel and the family are the worst reality actors. Oh my gosh. They definitely like all being on TV, right? For sure. Wait, what? Melanie says Chantel now works with a very reputable plastic surgeon. Did she ever get into nursing school? Because I remember, I mean, I love how I know all these things about these people, but I remember when she was studying for the nursing exam and then she failed it, right? Or to get into nursing school. I think it was the exam she failed. I can't remember. Um, Wait, why do you say Todrick is not likable? Asan, Todrick is not likable. I actually think he is, but he got a lot of crap for Celebrity Big Brother. But that's a season I didn't watch. My husband was watching that season of Celebrity Big Brother and didn't really know Todrick Hall, but I like him on Jeff Lewis Live. I liked him on Real Friends of WeHo. Joey did let it slip. Was he joking or not that there is a season 2 of Real Friends of WeHo? Or is that actually going to happen? Because all I had heard was that they were maybe going to redo it, maybe some new people, maybe some of the same old ones. I don't even know. Okay, this caviar. I have never eaten caviar. The only reason I want to try caviar is because of Kathy Hilton herself on a freaking baked potato, because I think anything on a baked potato is so good. I would like a little brisket on a baked potato with caviar. And I don't even know what caviar tastes. I just imagine it's very salty, and I love salt. So that's what I imagine. But I'm assuming if you eat caviar, then you would know it has to be refrigerated. So Joey has a husband named Brian. They're in a rental house because they are gutting their dream home that you saw the backyard of on the last season of the last episode of Real Friends of WeHo, but we never saw the inside. So apparently they're just gutting the whole thing. It's going to be a while. But apparently Brian is really allergic to oysters. And so Joey was apparently on a TikTok live or an Instagram live, something, and he was using the same spoon from the oysters that he did. Oysters and what did he say? Caviar? What's he saying he does every Friday? Something about oysters. Caviar is nasty, Darla says, very salty. I love salty though. Oh my God, I love salty so much. So much, so much. Okay, but he cross-contaminates the caviar, doesn't think about it, being with the oysters that his husband Brian is allergic to. Brian then gets very sick. So Joey says he was sick like once, but then still didn't feel 100%. So this happened Friday. So they went out Saturday and he said within an hour they had to like go home because they were both not, in a good frame, like up here and maybe down there, like, sick, food poisoning for sure. But Joey doesn't even know if he's allergic to oysters. He doesn't even know how much an EpiPen costs. And he thought a restaurant would have an EpiPen. I mean, even me, I was like, if EpiPens were common in restaurants, first of all, I've never seen anyone have an allergic reaction that I'm aware of. And EpiPens you carry yourself. So I'm shocked that they don't have one if he's that allergic. And it sounds like more than once they've had to leave a restaurant and go get Benadryl because his face blows up and his lips get red and all this stuff. So Tiffany Chump says EpiPens are very expensive. Are they not a normal? Okay. Everyone's insurance can also be different. So one person's insurance on an EpiPen can be a $10 copay and another one's can be full price. So I guess it depends on what your insurance is too. So our son, we realized at like 8 months old, which was bizarre, not bizarre. I ate so much cheese, drank so much milk, and I was breastfeeding exclusively. And a lot of times, that allergy would come through the breast milk. So basically, at 8 months, I was nursing him and I dropped some macaroni and cheese on his arm. And I can't cook at all, y'all know. So I would always mix my macaroni and cheese with a little extra milk. after I'd cooked it to get all the crumpy, powdered cheese mixed together. And he broke out in a little bit of whelps. So instantly I knew, wait a minute. And none of my kids have had allergies, food allergies, nothing. He was the fourth kid. So I realized, so we had him allergy tested and he was allergic to milk and eggs. So then we had to realize, but I could breastfeed him. Like nothing, anything I ate did not affect him through the breast milk, which was, I thought was odd. I don't know. But anyways, I say that to say, I literally remember being in the allergist office and her showing me how to use an EpiPen on an orange. And I just freaked out. I was like, there's no way I would be able to do this. I knew I'm not a good reaction person, those situations. I would never be able to do it. Luckily, he is now 16. He started eating yogurt and then cheese pizza. He never drinks full on milk, but clearly he outgrew those allergies of milk and egg, and everything is fine now. But I just never knew that you would not carry an EpiPen if he knows he's really allergic to oysters. Anyways, glad they feel better. Wait, Anne says, I have celiac disease. We know people with that, so I know all about that. Can't get anything processed. Yeah. And there's different levels of how celiac affects people. Like somebody can have literally one bite and be violently ill for hours. So anyways. Oh, okay. Annette says EpiPen is expensive, but with some insurance, it's not that high, and there are generic ones. Okay. I guess there's generic with everything. Okay. Anyone been to Club 33? Oscar got to go this past Friday. He brought 7 friends. One was Andy. They totally teased him later in the show about using her because she looks blind with these dark sunglasses that she's been wearing. I don't know, but he sounds like the food was amazing. I was kind of surprised that you can't use, I guess there was like a gift store or something. I was kind of surprised that you couldn't use your annual pass to get that discount as a Club 33 member. I don't exactly know what it means, but I think this Club 33 is just this dinner experience, right? Like I think somebody gave me a list last week of all the benefits it gives you. I want to say 5 times out of the year, you get the VIP experience. Well, that's approximately every 2.5 weeks. I mean, 2.5 months. That's not bad. That often in a year to be able to go and get the VIP experience. I mean, of course, it costs a shit ton of money. I don't know. Sarah says the photos of Club 33 look so basic. So why is it so special? I guess because it's so hard to get into. I mean, people say it's like 5 to 10 years to get off the waiting list, which is crazy. Like by the time you've got the money, you're probably impatient. And if you want to do it that much, you just want to get in right now. So then to have to wait 5 or 10 years, they must do it to where it's not overloaded and people can get the reservations, right? Because if they sold it to everyone and say it only seats 200 people at the restaurant, I'm making this up. If you couldn't get a reservation ever, you'd be pissed off, right? That they weren't letting you get it. Somebody says, I don't get the hype. Is it Reiki? Reiki? I don't get the Club 33 hype. I mean, but I know I don't get amusement park hype. I think when you go, it's either hot or cold, or it can be rainy. The lines are so long. It's so expensive. But I don't do well on those like loop-de-loop rides or roller coasters. So if I get sick, I'm white as a ghost, nauseous. That in of itself makes me not want to do them. But I've done them a bazillion times for the kids, but it's not my thing as an adult to like go to an amusement park by myself. Not at all. Todrick loves his boyfriend so much, but of course Jeff was teasing him about that. This story though about Winston. So Winston and Tuxedo are Joey and Brian's dogs. They are like their children. I mean, they love these dogs. When they travel, they miss them. They post pictures of them. They're so cute. So when he was on the air last week, his husband Brian sends him a video, I guess, like the security cameras, where there's all these mudslides in Florida. So everyone didn't have them, but somebody sent me some pictures of their property last week during the mudslides, and it was really bad. Their pool was filled up with mud. It was other cars. So depending on where you lived, some people were highly affected by the floods and the rains, and some people weren't, obviously. But they had a very muddy pool. So the dog thought he was probably stepping on ground and went into the pool instead. I don't know why, but he said French bulldogs actually can't swim like some other dogs can. So his husband jumped into the pool, and his first thought was that he was going to ream him, like, you should have been watching him better. And then Jeff says he gave him advice, he learned his lesson. Like, he had to experience that. He had to jump in with his clothes on in cold, muddy water and save the dog. He was probably panicking. He hated probably having to call you and tell you that. So that to me was probably punishment enough, right? Like, wouldn't you just, I mean, I can't even imagine. It's like a kid for sure. Like, knowing that if he wasn't right there, something terrible could have happened. So I almost wonder what happened with the other dog, if Tuxedo was around or didn't see it. I don't know. Louise says, I would be afraid. Oh, why do they get stolen? I would be afraid to have French bulldogs because so many get stolen. Isn't that the one that, was it Lady Gaga? Who was it that her dog sitter, her assistant, whatever, was walking the dogs and somebody shot him and stole the dogs and then tried to, I mean, that was awful. I think they were French bulldogs too, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy. James is the lucky, wait, what are y'all talking about? James with Vanderpump Rules. That would be enough for me not to go. James is the ickiest. Oh, I thought y'all said luckiest. Melanie, I read, my contact is being not friendly to me, and I thought it said luckiest, and it said ickiest. They do have lots of respiratory issues. Yeah, because of the way they're just physically at. Yeah, Lady Gaga. That was terrible, terrible. Joey and Todrick say they want to be dads maybe within the year. So they better get with the program, because as they joked, Todrick was like, how do people get pregnant from sex? And he was obviously joking, but clearly they're two gay men in relationships, so they will have to do whatever they got to do to have this baby. So, if they want to be parents within the year, they need to get on that. I think it would be great. Was it Todrick said he wants 4 kids? That's a lot. That's a lot. Has anyone ever seen Joey's pantry? Now, I've seen him go Instagram Live. He's always in his closet. He's always either sitting on the ground or showing what he's going to wear. Maybe that's not even Instagram Live. Maybe that's like his videos. But some caller called in. It was really sweet. And she was like, I just love you, Joey. I want to know more about you. So I knew this because he's said it before, but he was like in marketing before, clothing or something. And then for the past 6 years, he's been a full-time influencer. So anyways, but I didn't realize he wanted to have. Oh, wait, what? Melanie says, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't see Joey being a good parent. I hope he proves me wrong. He even said, though, Melanie, that he thinks it would settle him down. So, I mean, what did I always learn? There's no right time. It'll never be the right time, or you'll never have enough money to have a kid, right? So I think as long as you want to have a kid, I mean, lots of people have kids when they don't even want to. I mean, it wasn't the timing, like a pregnancy that wasn't necessarily planned. So, you know what I mean? Anne says, my dogs weigh around 80 and they can sleep with us, but the bed's not big enough. Yeah, our dog is 82 pounds. So we feel that with our black lab. Okay, Jeff Lewis extended. Doug and Monica are the hosts. It was a perfect day for that because Monica hosted her 2nd annual Chump karaoke. Also last year, it was around Valentine's theme because she had they post lots of pictures. So Krista is really good about posting Instagram stories. Monica is really good about posting Instagram stories. Jeff is probably the worst, right? He's never going to post as many personal pictures or videos. Carney's really good. Who else? Who else? I think those are the big ones that post a lot. They said that about 37 people were there. That's a lot. And Doug said it was a really great vibe over and over again. But did you hear Doug say, and Valentine's is in 2 days? He said at the end of the night, around 11:30 or midnight, he looked around. And he said like everyone was kind of either coupled up or in like their own little clique. And he was like, I don't really know where I fit in. So he goes, I grabbed my tostada salad and left. It made me kind of sad for him. I feel like Doug can talk to a wall, like he can get along with anyone. He is literally an OG chump. So he knows every single person there. It's not like he's a newbie and like kind of feeling uncomfortable or like he's worked with people, he's gone out with them, he's probably had them at his house, he's probably had them on, cooking kibitz. So it kind of made me sad that he felt that way. But I think there's some times when you're at a party and you just kind of feel done and ready to go. Oh, wait, you think he was drunk? I don't know. Candace says, drunk Doug. He knows he's welcome in all the conversations. Yeah, true. He is so good with people. I mean, like, literally can make anyone feel welcome. They did say that Tyler was the most drunk. I did get to meet Tyler the last time I was in LA, or maybe not the last time. 2 times ago, I was in LA and at Schmitty's. So he wasn't drunk there, but maybe he was by the time I left. I don't know. But they definitely said he was the most drunk. I love, and I never have done, of course, I don't Postmate. I don't even Uber Eats. So when I was watching the Super Bowl last night and that great Uber Eats commercial came out, we were all watching the commercials, obviously. But I was like, I don't really Uber Eats. Like, I don't understand the whole, I guess it was a Jennifer Aniston was in it. Ross, whatever, David Schwimmer, lots of celebrities, right? Anyways, but Monica today yesterday, I'm sorry, woke up and MJ had Postmated her some coffee. I thought that was very sweet to do because now we know Alyssa stayed till 3 a.m, but at least Monica's daughter was with her ex-husband, George, for the night. So hopefully she could sleep in and sleep it off because they did say she got a little bit toasty, right? Oh, Melanie says, I know exactly how Doug feels. That's why I stopped traveling with my motorhome. All my travel friends are couples, and it's so lonely at the end of the night. Oh, yeah. You need single mobile home. Surely there's got to be a group of single ones, right? Single ready to mingle, maybe. I love that. Oh, ALW. I would love to have a dinner date with Doug. Well, maybe he's only like 2,000. I don't know. Okay, if Jeff is $10,000 appearance fee to have a dinner with, how much do you think Doug should charge? I think Doug would have a very open. Doug, I think a lot of people, because nobody's going out to no one's paying the $10,000 dinner to date Jeff. You know what I mean? Clearly, he's most of the time in a relationship, anyways. But even with Doug, I don't think people would have the dinner to date him. They would have it because everyone feels like they're a friend of Doug's, right? Like he answers everyone's DMs. He knows so many things. He's so easygoing on Instagram and on the after show, everything, right? Wait, Michelle. Wait, what? Like rather eat. Oh, you'd rather eat with Doug than Jeff. Yeah. And what's funny is Doug says he kind of goes away by himself to eat at parties, but I ate across from him one day. So he does eat in front of people. Okay. Anyway, I thought that was very sweet of MJ to Postmated coffee. And apparently things seem A-okay with Chaz Dean and MJ because they actually did a song together and they said it was really good. They sang 36 different songs. So unlike last year's chump karaoke, I think they did very few songs and then they kind of went on and just started like hanging out and talking. This one was very karaoke heavy. I mean, it was, some people were talking about rehearsing, whether they did or not. We know that Jameson and Frank were in an Uber on their way from another party and they actually stopped to rehearse a little bit because they had not. So oh, wait, Will says, I would and could pay Doug $10,000, but I have a jealous other half who would not let me. Okay, could the other half go to the dinner with y'all? Like, if you've got the money, why, maybe y'all should go together. Yeah. Anyways. Super Bowl. Doug clearly didn't even watch the Super Bowl. He's like, I mean, I heard about it today. Usher's dancing. So I didn't really see him as much of a dancer. I didn't know his footwork specifically was so amazing. Like I was literally like enthralled during the whole show. I thought it was really good. Um, I guess they'd rumored that Justin Bieber was going to be performing. He clearly didn't. I think he was there hanging out with the Kardashians in their suite. Did they even ever show the Kardashians? I mean, clearly I was talking most of the time and eating, but I did watch the game. I saw, Taylor Swift clearly, but I don't remember them showing the Kardashians on their thing for sure. Melanie says they definitely need to hire a karaoke professional. We do that, and it's so much better than what Doug described of having to type each song in. Oh yeah, I've had we've hosted a party before, and it was karaoke DJ, and he passes out little papers, and you write down the name of the song, and he plays it, and then this is at a house. Well, ours is at the house too, but anyways, it would be easier, but I think that was part of the fun. Part of the fun. Oh my gosh, we're already at 48. You know why? Because I had tech problems in the beginning. So sorry about that. I still have no idea what was happening there. Okay, so Doug is going to the speed dating again tomorrow night. $60. I don't think in LA, I'm sure he has somebody super fancy and super good. He said that's including the tip though. So it's not terrible. Most men, I think, don't pay that, but I think in LA, whatever. The fact to me, the haircut is it's a friend, but he's also says he's paid $60 for the past 20 years. So I think 60 isn't terrible now, although I think it's expensive, even for a female haircut, which is always about 3 times as much, I feel like. But I feel like 20 years ago, $60 was a shit ton of money for a male haircut. I always say Cecile or Cecily. I can never. $60 is a good price for a good price, like low. Yeah, it only takes a few minutes because he's just trimming up the back. I don't know. Wait. Michelle says, do you think Carney's husband, hold on, I put it wrong. Do you think Carney's husband really got upset? I couldn't figure that out. They said he left. I couldn't figure out why he left or he left with Carney. I couldn't figure that out. I don't know. What did you say? I couldn't figure it out. Oh, Sandra says, I live in Las Vegas, so I'm just glad the game is over. Yeah, but if you live in Las Vegas or the area, there's always something going on, right? I mean, y'all are always getting ready for some huge, huge event. Anyways, don't forget, if you are an Instagram subscriber or a YouTube member, we will do the Ask Me Anything tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. It does go up as a record. The comments don't. So if you want to see the comments or be included in the conversation, join live at 7 at Sarah from Texas. And because we usually do it Sunday nights, and when I'm out of town or when it's Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve like this year or Super Bowl Sunday, then we do it the next day on Monday. So that's why we will do it tonight. Oh God, that's funny, Darla. I talk so much, even the Jehovah Witnesses avoid my house. Like you're on a list, like she'll talk your ear off. That's kind of funny. Anyways, well, thank you so much for joining live. It is way more fun to join live. The comments are available even as a replay. So shout out at the bottom right on YouTube. It says live chat. And then as you go along, all the comments do go up. But even if you didn't join live, they are a podcast. Thank you for listening. Everything is under Sarah from Texas. And don't forget to check out the podcast from yesterday where I interviewed the Sarah Fraser. We chat 1,000-Pound Sisters. She gave me some information that I didn't know, which now my mind is blown. And I have so many thoughts about the season finale. I'm just dying. Anyways, see you tomorrow, same place, same time, and hopefully I won't have technology issues at the beginning. Bye, y'all.